と見た世界さあ始まりの鐘が鳴る We are Funniest Isekai
The stuck in an RPG world concept has been pretty much done to the point where it's gotten very generic, but using that generic concept, they can create something that really hits close to home because we all know it too well. Hello everyone, I'm Joe Newin. Welcome to another edition of Newin Anime Review. This episode, KonoSuba, God's blessing on this wonderful world. KonoSuba starts off quite normal at first, when a otaku is just trying to get home to play his new game. Unfortunately, he dies on the way back home after suffering a heart attack of thinking of a truck hitting him, but in actuality, it was a tractor that didn't even hit him at all. After this, he is given the option to be reincarnated back into his original world completely, or be reincarnated into a fantasy world with MMORPG elements. He is also given the option to take one thing with him into the fantasy world. Normally, this would mean some special power or item, but instead, he chooses the goddess who mocked him for his death, and so begins the misadventure of Kazuma and Aqua as they try to get through this fantasy world. The overall story in general is not really all that interesting. Its setup is pretty basic: go and defeat the Devil King. Unfortunately, that's where the story starts and doesn't progress. By the end of the show, it felt like the character never really progressed on their journey to defeat the Devil King. But each scenario the characters face hits really close to home. They are able to come up with funny and relatable situations that us gamers have at least experienced before, and the accuracy is quite funny. They do a really good job in parodying the video game genre in general. I like how they were able to take a common genre and concept and make something interesting out of it, by really focusing on the comedy rather than the serious stuff. I like how they're able to make something seem serious at times, but completely destroy your expectations and surprise you in a good way. That being said, with the lack of proper story progression, the show doesn't really go anywhere, and there is a small time skip in the middle of the series and can leave you wondering a bit because they don't build the world that much. The protagonist of KonoSuba is Kazuma Sato. Kazuma initially is just a shadow in need, but then is forced to live in the fantasy world and get by it. So seeing as he knows all the RPG tropes, he thinks he can live an easy life in the fantasy world. Throughout the show, Kazuma sort of develops, but not in a way that you would think. He gets to the point where he sees how incompetent his party mates are and strives for a different goal. What makes Kazuma such a likable character is that he is really relatable. During the anime, I felt so much connection to Kazuma because I've experienced what he has. He's always complaining about his teammates, and he deserves to complain about them because he has to put up with them a lot. But another reason he is such a likable character because he is different to most RPG protagonists, as he is a complete douche himself. Aqua is the other protagonist of the show. She is a goddess who reincarnates other people into the RPG world. However, she is a little bit of a bitch. If things don't go her way, she will always make a complaint about it. She always lets others know of her status, and if it wasn't for her overpowered stats, she would be an annoying, useless character. However, she does spend all her points on useless abilities, but that doesn't stop her from actually doing work in battle because of her stats. Throughout the show, she doesn't really change all that much. She pretty much stays as the trash character for the entire show. The third member of the party is Megumin, the Chinibyo mage who only uses one magic skill, and that is the all-powerful explosion magic. But after using only once, she literally cannot move anymore, making her a literal glass cannon. As for development wise, she probably gets the most, but that's not saying too much because not a lot of the characters get development. She does grow in a way where she starts getting along with her teammates, her personality and actions bring out a lot of the enjoyment in the show. Also, my pick for best girl of the season. And the last member of the party is Darkness, a crusader tank class, sort of. Although she possesses great strength and defense, she possesses zero accuracy, meaning although she can take a hit, she cannot give it back. And also, she's a masochist, so getting a hit for her is actually a good thing in her book. She is a bit of a confusing character. Although she has this masochist side of her, she does have a serious side, where she reveals her chivalry. She probably gets the least attention in the show compared to the others. What I like a lot about KonoSuba is the characters. Each character brings something unique to the table. They all have their main talent, but also their main faults, which collide with each other, giving memorable moments. Each character is very entertaining in their own way, and their interactions are some of the more funny interactions I've seen. At first, I wasn't really interested in watching the show because it's Studio Dean, and when I saw the artwork, I thought it looked horrible. Well, the art style animation is really nothing special, but they seem to know that they have a pretty bad messy art style. The characters don't feel in proportion ever, and there's not a lot of details put into them. Where the animation does shine is when magic is being used. Obvious that's where all the main focus in the animation goes to, because the magic scenes look gorgeous, making it look like they're not even from the show, especially Megumi's explosion magic. The soundtrack is really not that special. They tend to reuse some of the same tracks over and over again, and none of the tracks really stood out too much. The opening is rather forgettable, but I do love the ending song performed by the three main girls. It gives off such a calming vibe to the show. Also want to note that the voice acting for the main characters are really good. Each brings out a lot of personality to the characters.
KonoSuba at first wasn't on my to watch list because of the artwork, which I didn't really like at first. But I checked it out and by God, it was awesome. Not only is it a really funny show, but it has a really relatable character that I can get around. Being a gamer as well, especially in MOBA games, the jokes hit really close to home with me. And I loved every moment of it. The characters' personalities were really nice to see, and add that with the situations that they have to go through makes it for really entertaining scenarios that they can come up with. It's a combination of the characters themselves and the jokes that make the show very, very entertaining and very funny to watch.
As we draw closer to the end of the review, I give the story a 7. The story is rather basic and the concept is nothing new. It has been done before, but I like how they're able to take the comedic approach and make it a fun story with a very funny scenarios the characters are to be in. For the animation and sound, I give it a 7 and 6. The art style looks rather basic and messy at times, but it seems to be well aware of that. But the animation is amazing when they really try, especially when they're using magic. The soundtrack is nothing too special and the OP is rather skippable. Personally, I love the ED because it's so calm and relaxing, but what stood out for me the most for the sound was the voice acting, which was really good as they were to bring out a lot of the characters. For the characters, I give it a 9. Sure, there wasn't much development from the characters, but they were the best part of the show. Their each individual personality brought so many dynamics to the show, and the interactions are quite fun to watch. Plus, they're all such likable characters. For my own personal enjoyment, I give it a 10. The anime hit really close to home for me, and a lot of the jokes they used were very clever and were very relatable. I didn't ever feel bored watching this, as the characters and their actions were very funny to watch. It was nice to see expectations killed with a funny joke. The different personalities were really enjoyable to see. So for the overall score of KonoSuba, I give it an 8 out of 10 after rounding it all up. Even though it has a rather basic concept, the comedic approach hits really close to home, especially for gamers. I recommend KonoSuba to fans of the RPG genre, but also who love comedy because it is legit funny. If you want to watch KonoSuba, it is available on Crunchyroll and on the Australian streaming service Anime Lab.
Well, with that all said and done, if you want to read a written review, link is down below in the description straight to my anime list. And please, if you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up. If you don't, give me a thumbs down. Can't be bothered, you can go watch another video. With that all said and done, I cannot wait for the second season of KonoSuba to hit because it's coming like an explosion! Sayonara!